Hello and welcome back to the JK Feather Ranch channel, to part 2 of our road trip where we spend the vast majority of 2 days driving across the barren wasteland known as West Texas. When we last left our brave adventurers, they had plugged in for the night at the Pancho Villa State Park in New Mexico, right by the border with Old Mexico, and that's where we'll pick back up. Although we're starting with a full battery, we can't exactly skip any chargers because there aren't many, so our first stop of the day will be in El Paso, where we'll also get some breakfast, then a lonely Days Inn in Van Horn, where there's absolutely nothing to do, followed by a Sonic in Pecos, which I think is an absolutely perfect spot for a fast charger, and one more quick stop at the Electrify Walmart in Midland before stopping for the night at the West Texas Friendly RV Park in Big Spring to sleep and recharge. Let's get going! Would you look at that? It is 7:46, the time just hasn't changed on our car, and we are starting our day with 100% charge. Off to the Electrify America in El Paso, Texas. I'm recording over the audio here because we were outside the car with the windows closed and all you could hear on the camera was incessant beeping because the remote was outside the vehicle. This ranger here noticed us charging last night and asked us how we liked our Bolt on the way out. He had been looking at Bolts as well, and on our way back from Texas, we were updating our progress on the Bolt EV subreddit, and he found our post there and replied that he had purchased a used 2019. I hope he likes it. And right over there on the other side of that fence is Mexico. We've just been driving along it for quite a while now, and we've got about 30 miles left to go of absolutely nothing but fence and desert and the occasional car or border patrol vehicle. There's Mexico! Never mind. Back in. That one still thinks it's charging someone. Hopefully this one works, because that one over there thinks it's still charging a car, even though there's nothing plugged into it, and the stop button didn't do anything. I hear noises and someone just used it, so it should be good. Clickety click, beepity beep. We're good. Alright, we're in a hurry today because it's the longest driving day of the trip, and I didn't film when we were leaving Electrify America, but we had 92% when we left. We're now on our way to the next Electrify America at Van Horn, Texas. Hopefully everything is okay there because there's only 4 stalls and 2 of them are down for maintenance, so I hope we don't have to wait, especially since this is the longest driving day of the trip. But we will see you there. And I'm not sure how well it will come through the camera, but this part of the freeway is really interesting. The tires sound like a jet engine on the pavement. Bye. Well, it looks like we managed to find what must have been some of the only hills anywhere in Texas, and at some point we started to realize that our range estimate wasn't looking quite as good as we had hoped. This was one of the few spots where things got a bit dicey, and with absolutely nowhere to stop for an emergency charge in literally the middle of nowhere, we slowed down and let the semi-trucks pass us for a while until we started heading downhill again. Even though a better route planner takes elevation into account, it was still better to be safe than sorry. And on a side note, this sudden elevation change in otherwise flat Texas is the exact same spot that Clean Technica ran into problems with their Bolt and trailer setup, but at least we were a bit more prepared with ABRP and 2 days worth of live OBD2 data. Although it may have seemed like we weren't going to make it, pretty much right after this was the exit for our next charging stop. Here we are at a Days Inn in beautiful Van Horn, Texas, where there is not a whole lot of anything around. And between El Paso and here is about 110 miles of empty desert. So we did take a walk across the street to get ourselves a candy bar and use the bathroom at that Valero. But other than that, not really much to do except sit in our car and wait for the charge to finish. We do only have to stay till 71% in order to reach our next destination, and we can't avoid stopping there by charging any longer. Currently we're at 59. There is another Ioniq 5 here charging with us, and thankfully they are the only car because these two chargers in the middle aren't working. So if there was anyone else here, we'd have to sit and wait for a while. We did have to drop the trailer off. My wife didn't want to just pull into a spot and block this completely empty parking lot. So we're just gonna sit in the car and wait till we finish up and get out of here. We are now entering Texas oil country, which feels really weird to be driving through in an EV. We have arrived at the Electrify America station in Pecos, Texas. We did not have to disconnect the trailer and could use this charger here to plug in our car. And look at that. They have set this up. It's at a Sonic, and they have set it up so that two of the chargers are facing the parking stalls. so you can eat while you charge in the car. We just didn't do that because we have the trailer. Alright, we're at 80%. That's what it said we needed. I am not sure what's up with this charger. It seems to be going slower than it should have, and it took us longer than we should have taken to get to 80%, but we're done. Let's get going. Since the rest of the day was spent driving through Texas oil country, which all looks pretty much the same, I'm not going to bore you with that footage. Instead, please enjoy this mostly accurate representation. Not sure if that's quite how you're supposed to plug in, but, you know, it works, and we don't have to disconnect the trailer. We're here at another Electrify Walmart location, pulled in with 15%. It's only about 40 miles to our campsite for the night, so we're gonna go inside real quick. We don't have to charge very long, and then we'll leave. Leaving the chargers in Midland, Texas, just as the sun goes down. 45 miles to go, so we only charged to 45%, which should be more than we need, but that's what a better route planner recommended. And next stop will be our campsite, where we will take a shower and plug in the car and go to bed. We finally made it to our campsite. Since this was our longest driving day and we lost an hour in the time change from New Mexico to Texas, we got here late and probably won't be filming much. But let's find our spot and hopefully take a nice warm shower for the first time this trip since the bathrooms at Pancho Villa were out of order. I might be just a little stinky and there's only so much deodorant can cover up. Since it was late and we were trying to be quiet, I'm doing this voiceover after the fact, but we made ourselves a quick dinner of roast beef and cheese pitas. We've got the car plugged in while they cook. And we may as well take this opportunity to fill our water tank since that's running a bit low. Then it's off to bed. We got in late last night and slept in a little more than we should have, so not much filming at that campsite. We are on the road again, fully charged, just past a big oil refinery, and it smells like some mixture of tar and gasoline, so I'm glad we stayed a little further away from that so we didn't smell it last night. See you at our next stop in 61 miles. This is it. Our last day of driving. If we can make it through today without ending up out of juice on the side of the road or spontaneously combusting, just Bolt things, am I right? We will have done the thing that people told us we were crazy for attempting. Since we're still in the part of Texas with very little in the way of charging, we do have to stop before we'd normally be ready to again in Sweetwater, then onwards to Eastland. We stopped in Midland yesterday. Does anyone else notice a trend? Our last stop will be something a little different than the usual Electrify America stops we've been making, but I'm not going to say anything else right now. If you want to find out, you'll just have to keep watching till that point in the video. And that's it. We're done. From there, we should have no problem making it to our campsite for the next week at the Stay a While RV Park in tiny little Murchison, Texas. Not much around, but it's right in the path of totality, and that's what we were looking for. It has definitely gotten greener. I think we're out of the desert, finally, somewhat at least. Left late this morning. A better route planner still predicts we'll get there before 7 tonight if we do what it says. And there's no time change today, so that's good. We're already in Central Time. That's been screwing with us this whole trip so far. We made it to our first charging stop. Of course, another Electrify Walmart in Sweetwater, Texas. And we are plugged in. We only got down to 50%, and we only have to stay to 82, so we shouldn't be here very long. We originally tried to use this charger over here, which I could not activate because the app claims it was already in use. But as you can see, nobody is charging here. We did have to drop the trailer, but we're charging on the other one that's available. So we'll go inside Walmart real quick. We are on our way out from Sweetwater. Charged to 84, but stayed a bit longer than necessary. Talking to that guy over there with the Lightning, he has never used a fast charger before, and his company just bought 5,000 of those, so he's never used a fast charger before, so we were able to give him some information, and now we're on our way to the next Electrify America at Eastland. Didn't get any food because there wasn't really anywhere worth eating at here. We did have a snack before we left, so hopefully we're good for the next 100 miles. I'll see you then. And now we've got windmills. In the course of a day, we've gone from oil country to renewable energy, all in the same state. We did not have to unhook the trailer, and now we're gonna go get ourselves some food. I believe there's a Dairy Queen over there that we might go to. I don't know if you can read that, but 5 minutes to 80%, we're at 78. Charging at 30 kilowatts because we're a Bolt. We need 82 or 83 to get to our next spot, so we'll just be here for a few more minutes.
A few moments later.
We have reached 85%, just to give myself a little bit of buffer here, so let's go ahead and disconnect from the charger. You're gonna stop? Are you going to stop? You're not stopping. See if we can stop it from inside the car. There we go. It would not stop.
Oh. Well, that's good. No one can do it for us.
Except it's supposed to stop. Well, that was weird. It just wouldn't stop charging no matter how many times I hit the stop button. Luckily, we were able to stop it from inside the car. I also think it might have been a little bit slower than expected, as I saw range in the 40 kilowatts while we were still under 50%. That's slow even for a Bolt, but we got what we needed. We got to 85%, and our next charging stop should be something a little different than the Electrify Walmarts we've become accustomed to, so we'll see you there. right, we are at a Tesla supercharger. The one in Fort Worth, Texas has the magic docks, so even though GM hasn't given us our adapters yet, we can still use it. I've already activated it, so it says to press the button, which does not exist.
Push in?
Push in. Okay, I heard it release. There's the magic dock. We should just have to plug in. Let's see if it starts charging. It's thinking. I heard it
clicked.
There we go. Just like that, we are charging on Tesla. And here comes another non-Tesla vehicle to charge. We are at 85% and leaving the supercharger. I still think that we could have parked over there and used that sideways one by pulling up right next to it in those spaces with arrows. I think that's what Tesla designed them for, but my wife over here made us disconnect the trailer. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments. Back in civilization, which unfortunately means 2 hours and 18 minutes to go 106 miles because of Dallas traffic. After 4 days of driving and almost 1,500 miles, we're finally here. Time to unpack only what we absolutely need and enjoy a good night's sleep without having to worry about when we get up in the morning. And here we are at our campsite. We got in late last night, so I didn't bother filming anything. Car is plugged in and charging to the 50 amp hookups. Over here, we've got burgers cooking on the barbecue. In the back of the trailer, we have some of our kitchen setup: microwave, toaster, electric kettle for coffee, and of course a sink for doing dishes and brushing our teeth, which, since we finally have a campsite with proper hookups, is draining into the sewer over here. And over there under the canopy is our little living area, protected from the wind and the sun. Come inside, and here is the rest of our kitchen. Since we do have hookups, I got us an electric stove, and there's our toaster oven, dishes drying on top of it. Under here we've got our portable fridge, and finally the eating table where the lovely Mrs. J.K. Feather Ranch is preparing our hamburgers. And over here we have our bathroom and changing tent. We did not bring the shower this time because the campground has their own showers. However, if it's the middle of the night and we don't want to walk to the bathroom, We did bring our portable toilet, and this side is just a spot to change our clothes. Since we had a few days until the main event, we got to relax a bit and enjoy all of middle of nowhere Texas's finest, which admittedly isn't a whole lot. Do you even know what you're doing? Nothing happened.
One eternity later.
For dinner we have Korean barbecue. Cook it ourselves as we eat it. Well, as you can probably see, it's a cloudy day here in Texas, as was expected. Luckily, with the glasses, we can still see the sun through the clouds. So we're just gonna sit here with the Pink Floyd on the radio. Someone in another camping spot is barbecuing, so we've got those smells. And we're gonna watch orbital mechanics in action.
Look, Mummy, there's an airplane up in the sky.
I see that. Just like that, we get light back.
Of course, now that we're coming out of the eclipse, the sky is pretty darn clear.
Yeah, about that. This was later that night and the next 2 days before we left without stopping, including a tornado warning. That was fun. But we survived, and if you survived watching all the way to the end, be sure to hit that like button and leave a comment below and subscribe for more. Thanks for watching!